I'm sure there are some that are still Windows XP based
Ooh.
running medical devices. I would not be horribly surprised.
Well, I mean, I know of a group that's still running DOS.
Okay, moving along.
I mean,
I can't even.
You can't go that much further than that.
Oh, I can't. Oh.
Help me with hip hop. Let's get it right. Protect your patience. Day and night. Donna and David, the experts on your side. Help me with hip hop. Let's get it right.
So today we're going to be talking about choices having consequences. And, you know, at first glance, when you listen today, the sources that we're going to bring up, they don't really seem related, but we're going to connect them all like a beautiful puzzle. And in the pattern, you know, you can't ignore it. It's unsettling, and most of us don't want to admit it, but, you know, it's time to have an honest, uncomfortable conversation with mom and dad.
That's right. Mom and dad want to talk about your choices and consequences.
Yes, we need to have that talk.
And people with us, they're like, oh no, I don't want that talk from you too.
Hey, we're going to have the talk. So, all right, Mom, you kick it off.
Well, you know, here we are sitting down yet again, having a conversation about stuff we've had conversations about. Nothing is surprising in this conversation, which is a big part of the problem. But, and I think we have a unique perspective that here we are about to hit our 550th episode next week.
Wow.
I know. I don't know who was participating early on in this, but anyway, but, you know, we're looking at this and I was getting ready and it's like, these are the same conversations over and over and over. It's just, you know, it's cyclical.
That's your way of saying I'm sick and tired having to repeat myself.
Clearly, we're having issues here. Failure to communicate appropriately. You know, we're still talking about ransomware. We're still talking about third-party risk. And now we're slapping AI on top of it. So we're still talking about the same things that need to be done to deal with these things that are still here. You know, what's it going to take?
That's the $1 million question. Like every time we join one of these groups, like the, you know, HSCC, and when we were putting together all the hiccup guides, the question kept coming up, like, how do we get change to happen? How do we get people to take note and to take action? And I think all of us are doing all these different things, hoping something's going to stick. And I mean, I honestly think for the most part, it only sticks once somebody has become a victim. It's like once you've had a serious health incident, you start taking your health seriously. Now, I know that's not everybody, but for a lot of people, like, I'm fine until the day you're not. And then, like, I can remember 2 years ago, my dad had this health incident at my house.
And I remember.
Dude, he came out of that a changed man.
Really?
And, oh, man. I mean, he changed his diet. He changed his lifestyle. He started going to the doctor, which is something my dad he prided himself on saying, I don't go to a doctor. I just put dirt on it. You know, I mean, he just wouldn't do it. He wouldn't do it. But after that happened, man, he goes to every single doctor's appointment. He does everything. I mean, it changed him. So it took an incident like that for the actions followed. And I think it's the same way with cyber.
Well, but I mean, we know people who've had certain incidents and they didn't really change their behavior. I think patient harm event, that's essentially, when the body, but if you actually, we say cyber safety is patient safety, but getting people to actually participate in that concern. And then we talk often about the regulatory, bringing down the hammer with regulations, and nobody wants that. But guess what? Nobody's going to do anything without the regulations.
Yeah.
And then we had, Change Healthcare, that big catastrophic outage. How much has that changed anything other than, maybe the way that people look at things? So we're still talking about ransomware. We're still talking about, third party vendor risk, and governance is the thing that, it's like what I do while you focus on the technology part. Governance is a huge piece of what I do because it's the actual management of the risk. I worry about the actual management of the risk, not, we use this security stack, or, we have this thing or that things. The tools are always changing, but the headlines, it's basically the same. They just say it differently.
Yeah.
So when do we have people say, I'm choosing to live this way?
Right.
Yeah. I will say it about a lot of things. I am choosing to do that. And yes, if I continue to bang my head into the wall, I'm probably going to bleed and have other issues.
Yeah.
But I'm doing that, and that's what people are doing. So, as we head into our 11th year, 11 years, 2015.
Goodness.
Mom and Dad are going to get stern. That's what we're going to do. No, we're not capable of that, really. Well, we could when we have to, but we need to have these hard conversations and look at them honestly and say, what does it take? Let's look at this honestly and say, from a leadership perspective, when are you going to get involved? That's what I want to know.
Can we call this risk shaming?
Choices have consequences. That's it. That's what we're going with.
Yeah. Yeah. It reminds me of conversations I had with my kids for sure.
It is. It's a parenting issue. That's what we're going to go with.
I just had a conversation with one of my kids last night, and he said, I'm tired of making all the dumb decisions I made in my early 20s. I'm tired of paying for that. I said, and you should be tired of paying for that. So,
yeah. Yeah, and you tried to tell him in his early 20s, but he didn't listen.
I know. I brought that up too. He's like, but
of course.
I had to find out for myself, Dad. I'm like, I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. You did too. You did too. That's why you got all of them.
Yeah. I don't know that I had as many warnings. I think my parents were more like, you're going to go figure it out yourself anyway. So just have fun.
Yeah. Choices and consequences.
Yeah.
There you go.
You'll figure it out. I think that was my dad's most favorite phrase. You'll figure it out.
That's it. All right. So first up of our varied pieces of information, we have the Health Ice Act, which is the information sharing and something cybersecurity. What is the organization's name? Health Ice Act is, HSCC is sponsored by them. They have a lot of things going on. This report is their annual report that looks at the threats in healthcare. It's all still the same. They've just matured, gotten older like us. They've adapted like us. It does take a little longer for us to get up out of the chair. Particularly the one who has the knees that have just said, we're done. But you know what? They haven't been resolved. And we know if you continue to ignore it, you don't get surprised. You know where you're headed. Your head's going to bleed. So in their report, they pointed out ransomware is still dominant. Not shocking. They accounted for 455 ransomware events in 2025 in healthcare. A massive increase from Quillen.
I'm going to say it's Killing. That's what I'm going to pronounce it.
Yeah. It's like a Harry Potter thing. It's a mythical animal or something. Anyway. but killing makes sense, but the U's not there. Anyway, QILIN, they're a really prolific ransomware group.
Yeah.
And they're pretty vicious. They have complex encryption that is probably the level of encryption we should be having in healthcare, but and they do double extortion. And they went from 23 victims in healthcare, of all of their victims, 23, 2024, to 77 in 2025.
Oh, they must have found out something.
Uh-huh.
These
So,
are easy.
you know, it's not an oddity. It's, oh, who got hit by ransomware? You know, and it doesn't even make the news anymore. It's become normalized.
Oh, yeah.
It's not an exceptional thing unless it's, shutting down huge numbers of hospitals. Otherwise, it's like, oh, it just shut down the doctor's office or whatnot.
Yeah. If you even know that, or it's like, shh, don't tell anybody. Shh.
I know.
We have a water leak. That's why we're closed. No, you have a data leak. That's a little different.
Yeah. Yeah, because, those guys do the double extortion. They just encrypt the crap out of it, wipe everything, and then hold it ransom so they don't release the data they stole.
Mm-hmm.
And then they go into the third-party supply chain. They point out all of the different ones. You have to be prepared now that one of your vendors is going to go down.
Yeah.
And you know how I used to when we were doing our assessments, I remember it, and people still, it's like, well, we have cloud EHR, so we don't have to worry about going down.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I think they're finally starting to get that, but it's unfortunate. But we did this a couple of weeks ago where we talked about, they figured out, they get a bigger bang for their buck, so to speak.
Yeah.
So you had Episource, had a huge 5.5 million people, close to 5.5 million. Clio, hundreds of victims. CrowdStrike, your favorite.
Yeah. Yeah.
69% of surveyed organizations were disrupted by the CrowdStrike issue. And their issue was just one of those things that happens.
Yeah. That was the same week we were starting to onboard them as a new vendor.
You were like, can't wait to tell everybody that.
Well, the good part about it was it didn't affect us that much at all because of that. So if we would have been a little bit earlier, then yeah, it probably would have. But
yeah,
dodged that
one. That's a huge difference, though. It wasn't an attack.
No,
it was just a system issue in their processes.
That's right.
And then, of course, medical devices and infrastructure, they bring those up. We know about the legacy devices. And guess what? We're getting more and more legacy devices every single day.
Mm-hmm.
In HSCC, one of the things that's amazing to me, it's a whole health sector. That's what HS stands for. But, we hear from and meet people from the med tech world, the medical devices. They live in a whole different world than we do.
Yep.
The stuff, I'm not saying like it's a Pollyanna world. I'm saying they have so many different things to worry about than we do. And we just have to worry about the end point that they're worried about.
Mm-hmm.
And they're so expensive, so expensive. You don't just replace them on a whim. And then you throw in the Windows end of life impact that it's having, which I'm pretty sure Windows 10 is just the latest problem. But what was it before 10? Does anybody remember there was Windows before 10 that got end of life? I'm sure there are some that are still Windows XP based running medical devices. I would not be horribly surprised.
Well, I know of a group that's still running DOS.
Okay, moving along.
You can't go that much further than that.
Oh, I can't. Oh.
We're having to run. They're running emulators in Windows so they can run DOS. But anyway, yeah.
DICOM and PAX exposures, we have talked about that repeatedly. Don't even get started talking about PAX and how bad it is. And so you've got patient safety and cyber safety. We constantly try to tie it together, but when you add medical devices into the mix, you're seriously talking about patient safety. These things are there. And so all of these things, we know we got a problem. And this is our foundation. The infrastructure is, everything has a problem. We know it's still a problem. We know that it's unstable. We know the budgets aren't there. We know that everybody's exhausted. We know. Now let's throw a giant elephant on the roof.
Yeah, on the roof, not in the room, on the roof.
Which, it's AI.
Oh,
so there was a study published in Lancet, the medical nerds, the research folks, and Health Data Management is one of the newsletters I follow, and they had one, and it pointed to some other articles all about AI. And I know you and I even laugh and roll our eyes. We got to talk about AI again.
Oh, that ain't going away anytime soon. That's like saying we got to talk about ransomware again. Yes. Yeah. The AI thing is changing so fast. It will be a topic for a very, very long time because whatever we said about it 2 weeks ago has changed.
Yeah, and we've said it many times. We can't do a presentation following the normal rules where they want you to give them the slide deck a month in advance. I'm like, hey,
No.
Everything's different now.
Well, I brought up a new AI tool a week or two ago. Since the time I brought it up, it has changed names. This is like 2 weeks ago. It's changed names. It's not the same name anymore. And as of yesterday, OpenAI bought it and hired the developer. So now it's going to move under OpenAI. So this is 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, it changed the names 2 or 3 times and got swiped up by one of the big guys, which is exactly what I thought.
So far, what we've learned is your timing is always a mess.
Yeah. But that just goes to show when we talk about this stuff, we have to keep talking about it because it doesn't stay the same. It's always changing. And I had somebody ask me yesterday, or the comment she said was, I need to buckle down for a couple of days and get caught up on some of these AI tools. And I started laughing. I sent her a link. I said, here's a link to 4,300 AI tools if you really want to do your homework. And she was like, I had no idea there were that many tools out. And I'm like, this is just the popular ones.
And that doesn't count the ones that are embedded in the software you already use.
Exactly. I mean, it's thousands and thousands of AI.
Yeah. And it is not being managed. The governance, I have been telling people for years, if you don't start managing it, you're going to lose control. And even gave away free copies of policies and procedures on how to manage it. I'm not sure of anybody that's implemented them.
Yep.
They said they have, but I haven't seen evidence. But it is at the point that we don't have a choice. It is now managing you.
Yeah.
It's managing you. If you're not managing it, it's managing you. And even if you are managing it, it's probably still managing you.
Yep.
And that's when one of these articles pointed out 2/3 of physicians are already using some form of AI in their workday. And some of it is sanctioned and approved. Some being the key word.
Well, the other part of it is they've discovered that the use of these AI tools, we'll call them shadow AI because they're not supposed to be using them. It's not the young folk. It's like, it's cross-generational. It's like everywhere. It's people that are older, people that are younger. It's like it's everywhere. So you can't just blame it on, well, the young people who grew up in the digital age are the ones that are adopting this stuff. It's like, no, everybody's doing it.
And you've got this dichotomy with the people who are like, I'm not going to touch it.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not going to help.
It's the devil.
It is so many issues with however you look at it. And when you have in that same study that 2/3 of the physicians said, yes, I'm definitely using AI tools, 17% admitted, that is key in a survey, they admitted to using unapproved tools.
Yeah. So what? I don't know, triple that number probably.
So when you add all of that into this Lancet research study that showed how it was just really, really easy to put misinformation, poor information into the LLMs, which is basically the AI knowledge base that it works from, that you can take just a wonderful model and you throw crappy data in there. You know, we always had a term back in, even in the olden times when I learned how to write code, garbage in, garbage out.
Yeah, that was punch.
There you go. But you put that in, and now not only are we talking about the medical devices' direct patient care impacts, but now we're talking about clinical decision making and documentation direct patient care.
Yeah.
And
so you're making clinical decisions based off of misinformation. Wow.
well, if you're not governing it, you don't know whether you are or not.
Yeah.
And if you are governing it, you're trying to prevent that from happening. At least you're trying to accept that this is a possibility. But if you're not even trying, then yeah, you're probably not, it's not solid info.
Yeah. And think about, we used to hear a lot about AI hallucinations. I don't personally hear about it a lot anymore, even though it still does it. I think people are kind of getting to the point where they're trusting it more and maybe trusting it too much, that they're not even talking about the fact that it hallucinates. Now, it'll usually say at the bottom of the screen in little letters, AI can make mistakes.
All of them will, won't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I mean, I argue with it all the time. I'm like, no, that's not what that said.
Yeah. My wife does that. She'll say, I had an argument today with chat. I'm mad at it right now. I'm like, okay.
I'm not using you anymore. I love when you get mad at it and it starts trying to fix it. It's like, no, we can save this. I actually had it say that to me one time. So, but we're actively deciding what we're using, how we're using it, what versions we're using. The paid versions make a difference.
Oh yeah.
And even if you're paying for it, it makes a difference how those are set up. And so clearly, just saying don't do it, we know has never fixed anything.
No.
And if we thought shadow IT was bad, I think the people who are capable of shadow AI is 10 times more than the shadow IT.
Yeah. Yeah, that's going to be a rough one.
And all the pressures that are everybody's under to do more with less, be faster, all of these things. And then you add to it how cool AI is and how good it is at doing a lot of things if it's properly managed. I mean, you've got a mess there, and it's just waiting for the roof to collapse. So here's your choices and consequences. You know what the risks are. Repeated warnings. If you don't believe in repeated warnings, we have 500 and some odd episodes. No, you can't. No. At best case, when something goes wrong, there's a little bit of leadership accountability. There's a little bit put into it when there's a crisis. And only incremental, though, not like we're going to fix this for good. We have some organizations really, really good. And not all, but some are really, really good. But there are far fewer that are really, really good at managing this stuff that are even doing a mediocre job. I'm going to call it mediocre.
They're not even doing the minimum.
Yeah. So we know the problem. So the question that we all need to ask, whether it's, if you're in charge of anything, what will it take to force meaningful change?
Yeah.
Does somebody have to die?
Not only do we know the problem, but we know the solution, but we can't get them together. It's like whoever cracks that code.
Yeah, but and the AI thing it's a runaway train.
Yeah.
And so you got, is it regulations that are going to help? Well, people already, HIPAA, SHMIPA, you remember that from the early days.
Yeah.
Right? Of the podcast. And we do have serious problems. We know there is increased death from cyber incidents. We have statistics and data, and you know how I feel about data. Do we have crackdown on regulatory? Because then if you have the regulations, you have to crack down on enforcement. That's not.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Or do we have,
I don't think the enforcement's ever been enough. I'm not saying the amount of what they enforce is the amount of how much they do it. I mean, if you look at it and you're like, oh, there's only been, I'm just throwing a number out there. There's only been 200 enforcements in, 5 years. Well, that's a risk I'm willing to take. It's got to be a lot more than that. And we just don't have the capacity to do that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the number of times that I've had conversations and people will literally say, well, if it's going to take that much time, that many resources, that much money, I'll just roll the dice, see how it goes. See if they catch me.
Yeah.
It's not about that. And I can't get that message across. So I think that's part of the connection. And we can't fix everything, but we can make it less likely and less impactful and potentially make some of it go away.
Yeah.
But
just try to move your fruit up the tree. You don't want to be the low hanging fruit. Just move your fruit up the tree.
That's the parental point right there. Move your fruit up the tree. Okay. But I mean, I don't want it to be like another Change Healthcare scenario where it almost brought the sector it brought it to its knees in many ways. Mm-hmm. And there are very few areas, parts of it were not impacted, but almost all of it was. And do we need to do that? Because, we know the problem's there, but the problem is making it a priority and managing it in an ongoing manner.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely about a priority. It's not about time. When somebody says, I don't have time, that's not true. You have time. It's just not a priority that you want to fill that time slot with.
Yeah.
Something else is a bigger priority. It's like, I don't have time to, let's say I don't have time to cook nutritious meals and I don't have time to go exercise and all that until I have a health incident. And guess what? If you don't eat nutritious meals and exercise, you're going to die. And I'm like, oh, all of a sudden I got time for it now because I've prioritized it. And so it's all about a priority thing. So no, in fact, what I like to tell my kids is you don't manage time, you manage priorities. Time is time. Like it's the same 24 hours in a day. You're not managing it. You're managing the priorities you're putting in those time slots.
Yeah, I try to be careful and never say, well, I didn't have time to do that. I say, I didn't make time to do that.
Mm-hmm. I say, I didn't find it a priority. When somebody says, hey, weren't you going to give me a call? And I'm like, yeah, I didn't find it a priority. It doesn't go over well.
I'm going to remember that next time I don't call you or something.
Yeah. I'm going to call you, Donna. What? Am I not a priority for you? What's up? No. I just didn't find the time. I didn't make the time. I'm like, oh, okay.
Well, to get back to where we were, when there's a crisis, we don't want to wait. Money shows up, consultants are hired, the executives are all up your business, standing over your shoulder. So-and-so's taking charge now. Bottom line is we know it can be done. Mm-hmm. It's whether it will be done. And are we going to act before we're forced to?
Some will, some won't. But one thing is for sure, choices will have consequences.
And I can only hope that what we're doing will help prevent the consequences for somebody. Because I'm sick of doing this shit, it doesn't. Oh. Yeah, there you go. I think we're done now.
Good talk. Good talk, Mom. So that's our show for today. And remember to follow us and share us out on your favorite social media site. And be sure to tell people, spread the word. Like, we need some help here, folks. We need change to happen. Anyway, if you have any questions or ideas, be sure to send them over to Donna. She reads every single email and responds.
Oh, she's...
Be sure to join us again next week.
David doesn't make it a priority.
That's right. Join us again next week. And until then, remember, HIPAA's not about compliance. It's about patient care.
You've been listening to the Help Me with HIPAA podcast, hosted by Donna Grindle and David Sims. The show created to help you with HIPAA. For more information or to ask us a question, visit our website at helpmewithhipaa.com. Neither Donna Grindle or David Sims are attorneys, and they do not offer binding legal advice concerning regulatory compliance. The information in this podcast should not be relied upon or construed as legal advice in any way. Consult your attorney for legal advice concerning compliance with HIPAA regulations.